on the show because that means we are getting close to opening day.
I guess that's what it means, guys. That's exciting. It's what are we? Almost February now. Here we go. It's go time.
Absolutely, and you know better than most what the baseball is in the state of Mississippi. It really is something that the whole state will wrap itself around. Michael Borky, he wants. I'll ask the question for you. Let me ask because I know what you're going to ask.
Okay, fine.
And I did an interview earlier today in which we're talking about college baseball. Southern Mississippi, consistency unmatched here in the state. They've been the most consistent program in this state for the last 5-6 years. Not ranked in the D1 opening poll. What about the Golden Eagles? Do you not see a top 25 team with them?
They're not far off. I mean, we had them in the next 10 group. I would say they're one of the first teams out of the top 25. They're just a little approved still on the mound, and that's something that you feel pretty good about. Southern Miss usually does. If the question is on the mound, they usually figure it out. I mean, Christian Nostrander is he's so good. But coming back here, I mean, we've got some guys that need to emerge. I mean, I think J.V. Middleton is an extremely exciting talent, but he's kind of been a tease the last couple of years. I mean, great in the fall, and just he's okay last year. He's a bullpen guy, though. Will that translate to a starting role? Can he hold up under a bigger workload? He's never done it before. Is the pitchability there enough? We know he's 94, 98. It's electric, but that's a big, big piece for them. And if he clicks, I think that's a game changer. But then you got Colby Allen also kind of making that transition from the back of the bullpen into maybe the Friday starter role. Like him a lot. He's great last year out of the pen, but starting now being a Friday guy is a little bit of a different deal. So those are two big pieces for them. I like those two guys. Would like to see it a little bit. Let's see if they can start. And I will say this too. Our friend Mark Etheridge was in there in the fall. It's the first time in a while I didn't get to Hattiesburg in the fall because Mark called dibs on it. And he actually liked what he saw from the arms quite a bit. He had some more questions about the lineup, but personally, I think that the lineup is going to be pretty solid. They've got plenty of experience and physicality back there. Carson Pato and the Loch Ness Monastir, or whatever nickname we're going with these days. Matthew Russo. There's some guys who've been around the block. I think they're going to be a really solid team all the way across the board when it comes down to it. And they'll be a top 25 team at some point this season, like they always are. Just a matter of how early it comes together.
What does the Sun Belt look like as a conference? I know you guys are high on Troy. That's a good baseball team. Who else in that league? It looks like a postseason favorite.
Yeah, Troy is the one that we picked as a favorite. I don't think there's a whole lot of separation between Troy and then kind of the next group, which for us is Southern Miss, Louisiana, Coastal. I think that's the top tier in some order, and good luck trying to figure out the exact order when it all sorts itself out. But I like Troy the best. I just think that what they did in the portal on the mound is pretty exciting. And again, there's guys that have to prove themselves a little bit more, but like a Noah Edders, he had like a 6 ERA last year up at Bradley, but I mean, he also threw, what did he make, 15 starts, up through 80 innings for us. So at least we've seen him hold up under a long season workload. And the stuff's electric. I mean, I saw him and Adam Felinsky, the other key transfer that they brought in. I saw both those guys in the fall, and it's mid-90s stuff with real secondary stuff, sharp breaking ball, all the whole works. And they're physical. You got Garrett Gaines back now as kind of your seasoned fifth-year senior starter, top of the rotation, plenty of depth on the mound. So I just think they're probably the safest bet on the mound with everything that they've got there. They've got a lot of depth. They've got a ton of left-handed hitting. You got a real star, all-American caliber player, Brooks Bryan, behind the plate, where you really like to be strong at that position. I think they're really good up the middle. It's a team that's going to hit for a lot of power like they usually do, and I just think that they check all the boxes for us. But I like them. I like Coastal and Louisiana as well as Southern Miss. I think those are the top 4 teams, and should be a fun race between them.
Aaron, another team that did not make the D1 top 25, but this one is far more understandable than Southern Miss. Ole Miss, coming off of two rather disappointing seasons after the national championship. What do you expect out of Mike Bianco's Rebels in 2025?
I'll tell you, I'm the high man on Ole Miss on our staff. I actually kind of pushed for them to be in our regional projections, and I lost that vote, which is fine. They have to prove it. But I think they're going to be a surprise. They're the surprise team of the SEC. I really do. I just think First of all, getting Hunter Elliott back is such a game changer. I mean, you're always looking for these guys that can give you 80, 90, 100 quality innings, and this guy's done it as a true freshman. He pitched at an All-American level for a national championship team. He was awesome in Omaha. People forget how good this guy is because he hadn't pitched in 2 years because he was hurt, and the timing of that injury, was awkward. And then, of course, he had a little setback. It just took a while, but he was great this fall. He's back. It's a lefty with real stuff and pitchability and experience. And then you got Riley Maddox, who, again, was an SEC starter last year. He's also got good stuff. Mason Nichols, tons of experience with those three guys. So for me, that's a separator in the SEC is when you've got actual experience, starters especially, with stuff coming back. And then everyone else is like, oh, we're running in some transfer guys, we're plugging holes, we're hoping this guy clicks or that guy clicks. I feel pretty good about those three veterans for Ole Miss. Then you throw in the really good young arms like a Cade Townsend, leading the way, and they got a couple others that I really like in that kind of younger group. You still have Connor Spencer back, a big arm at the back end. I mean, I think they're going to be a lot better on the mound. And again, I think that offensively they're pretty solid. I mean, I don't know. You plug in some holes. This is a place where I feel like you can really rely on some portal guys that are what you're going to get from Isaac Humphrey coming in from Louisville, or Mitchell Sanford, who was the Player of the Year last year in his conference in UNO. Started his career at LSU. I mean, he's been around the block, and he was, I'll tell you what, he was a force of nature when I was there in the fall. I mean, he showed you all five tools, a fifth-year guy who's got experience and hits for power and runs and plays defense. I mean, sign me up. So I think they did a good job adding some pieces. Owen Pano, the kind of blue-chip freshman at shortstop, I think is going to be a star. So they added some pieces. You're going to see, I think, natural progression from a Campbell Smith behind the plate, and a Judd Udermark's really got to click this year. That's one that they're banking on, kind of having that Tim Elko-like trajectory where it just kind of comes together for him later in his career. But he's just Mike Bianco is comps into a tight end, like a Rob Gronkowski type guy, just a big physical dude who can, run the 60 in 6.3 seconds. And he can fly, So if it all comes together for him, he could be a star. So I like their team a lot, actually.
Mississippi State, 18th in the D1 poll, the only team in Mississippi ranked. I feel like with State, Aaron, you can make a case to rank them much higher, and you can make a case to not rank them at all. I guess that's why they end up around 18th. What's the ceiling on this Mississippi State baseball team?
Yeah, I think the ceiling is like a lot of these kind of top 25 SEC teams. The ceiling is Omaha, if everything comes together for them. Once again, it's a team that you got some experience on the mound. In that rotation with Pico Cohn coming back, that was huge for them. And I think that's a guy that can take out a bigger load this year as your fourth-year junior, left-hander with stuff and a good body, workhorse kind of build. Needs to be able to hold up under a full workload. That's important for them. But I think with him and then Carson Ligon coming back, a guy that they really need to take on a bigger role on that staff as well. But two experienced pieces. Stone Simmons back from injury. You know how I feel about these guys that have experience and stuff that you could build your rotation around. They've got them. And then you throw in a Jacob Pruitt from Indiana State, who was very good for those guys. A really good Indiana State team, the postseason team the last 2 years. That's a nice addition. They did very well in the portal. I think bringing in Chase Hungate from UVA will help shore up the bullpen, and Kevin Manell is just a big old monster with a low slot, very tough at bat. So they got some nice pieces there in the pen as well. I like the depth of the mound. For them, I think the biggest key is the up the middle guys, Ross Highfield and Dylan Cupp, coming back from injury. That those are high profile guys. Recruits out of high school that have maybe first round tools. If they perform. They just have to prove it, and I'm probably buying those two guys more than some other people on our staff who just are still kind of withholding judgment there. But Chris Lemonis can't stop raving about Ross Highfield and Dylan Cupp. And what they're capable of doing. That guy knows baseball. I'm listening to him. So, those two guys, plus you got a Nolan Stevens, who I think is a real breakout star guy, and you add Ace Reese from Houston at third base. He was kind of the big story of their fall. Really had a great fall, hit for averaging power. Expect a huge year from him. I think there's some nice pieces here. Just a very rock-solid SEC contender is what it feels like to me.
Aaron, that